What's up? So, I've been reading one of Angel Miller's books, The Path of the Warrior Mystic. It's a great read, by the way. But he introduced this concept that I thought was so powerful that at the end of the day, deep down inside, all men either want to conquer or be conquered. And what I take away from that is that we would all rather have tried and failed than have never tried. And this is sort of a lesson I've been trying to remind myself, right? Is that in order to have any chance of creating your ideal life on a day-to-day basis, you have to push yourself outside of your comfort zone. You have to suffer for the greater good. And what helps me embrace that is just realizing that you're going to suffer either way. My most potent and long-lasting regrets in life have always been the regrets of not trying. I've done some embarrassing things, stepping out of my comfort zone. I've failed miserably, but those moments don't bother me near as much as those moments I sat on the sideline and I let myself do nothing. Right? Because at the end of the day, even if I did fail and I did embarrass myself, I can be at peace with the fact that at least I tried. Right? And it's so scary, dude. Like, I feel like it's so scary to venture outside of your comfort zone. To go out into the unknown, to put yourself out there and deal with criticism and rejection, and failure. But I feel that the sort of perception and failure in my head is always far more severe than its reality, if that makes sense. So, I always envision that, dealing with that rejection and failure is like so bad and it sucks. But then I go out there and I fail and I get rejected and I realize, this is not nearly as bad as, it is in my head. Right? And what comforts me is just the idea that no matter what you do, you're going to get lost in oblivion eventually. Even the greatest minds in our time today will be nothing but an excerpt in a textbook at most, right? Think about all the great artists and musicians and warriors and leaders that we've already, sort of begun to forget about and that most people don't even know about. In their time, they were some of the most impactful people in the world. And now most of the population doesn't even know who they are or what they did. And, that should bring you comfort. At the end of the day, no one's really going to remember you, right? You may have a legacy that will sort of impact others around you for a period of time. But in the grand scheme of things, we're all just specks on a floating rock, right? So it's like, why not try to live the life that you dream about? Why not get out there and fail, and learn and expand your consciousness and grow? Because you're not going to ever really be of service to the world if you constantly live in your comfort zone. You're never going to, be able to impact real change if you can't make that change in your own personal life. And I'm really making this video as a reminder to myself and, to hold myself accountable, because I often do, get wrapped up in the fear of failure and, I exacerbate it in my mind. But really, the true fear is the fear of never trying. I mean, what's more scary and depressing than that? Imagine being on your deathbed and just realizing that you never even attempted to get out there. Even if you failed, at least you say you can have that peace of mind and that you went for it. So it's about finding purpose, really. Giving yourself a reason to get out there and suffer, because we're gonna suffer. That's what life is as a man. It's suffering, but you might as well suffer for the right reasons. Suffer for the sake of growth, for the sake of moving forward to this life that you desire, rather than suffering from complacency or regret. So failing and embarrassment and all the other consequences that come from venturing outside of your comfort zone, and they just fail in comparison to the regret of sitting on the sideline your whole life, man. This is a finite experience, man. This whole life is just like a video game, right? And I really like the analogy of like life is a game. You know, when you play video games, right? You know, and you have your character, you're detached from that character, and you do everything that is necessary to level up your character and to help him gain the necessary attributes and connections and resources to allow that character to be successful. You're not thinking about how does my character feel, you know? You're operating outside of that. It's as if, you know, your physical self, you know, your ego is that video game character, and your higher self is the one on that controller, right? So it's about operating outside of these fears and these emotions and doing the things that you know that logically are going to put you in the best position to win, to be successful in life, to make real change, to help out others. And that's venturing outside of your comfort zone, right? So we all have things that we know we should be doing, or we know that are going to better our lives, but we let that fear, we make a choice to listen to that fear. That's all it is. It's not about getting to a point where, you know, you're not scared or you're not nervous. Those are just natural and innate reactions. Fear is a very natural thing, right? It's what kept our species alive for so long, because there were very legitimate threats, you know. A lot of dangerous animals out there, other tribes or whatever. There were real fears, life or death situations that we needed that emotion of fear to keep us alive, right? But now most of us live in a world where we don't encounter that adversity every day. So we, you know, that fear is misplaced. The fear, instead of, you know, the fear of being killed by a dangerous animal in your sleep, it's a fear of talking to strangers, you know. And, you know, that doesn't feel very good. That's not a very noble thing to be afraid of, right? So that's why we must overcome it. We must just operate outside of the fear. Courage is not an absence of fear. You know, courage is operating, you know, outside of it. You know, being scared, being so nervous, like literally shaking in your boots, but doing it anyway. You know, that's the starting point. And that's what I'm trying to remind myself with this video, is that, man, you're going to be scared, you know, you're going to be scared. But you shouldn't fear that failure. You should fear not trying, because that's a far more grim reality, and it'll creep up on you, you know. If you don't take action, if you don't bite the bullet and go for it, you know, it's a far more worse consequence to deal with. But yeah. So thanks for watching. Definitely check out that book, Angel Miller's The Path of the Warrior Mystic. It's a great read for young men. But subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.